Hello my lords, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Nick Seraf's Food Log. We've spent 2 breakfasts in Europe, and now it's time to take a short trip across the pond, that's what we call the Atlantic Ocean, to the United States of America. Oh, how the world loves Americans. Yeah. Moving on. So, the Americans have a variety of options for their breakfast, like Lucky Charms, cornflakes, Special K, Fruit Loops. But since any idiot can add milk to a bowl of cereal and call it breakfast, we're going to make something from scratch. We're going to make an American favorite, the Fluffy Pancake, with maple syrup, blueberry jam, and a side of bacon. Of course, if you say it in American, it's going to sound like this. Oh my god, pancakes with like blueberry jam and maple syrup and a side of streaky bacon. Okay, I'm making myself sick now. So to make fluffy pancakes, we need to separate our ingredients in 2 types. The wet ingredients and the dry ingredients. You've heard me say things like grams and milliliters for the past few recipes, but now that we're in America, I'm going to be using the term cups and tablespoons and teaspoons, because you know, who likes the metric system? Yeah, certainly not the Americans. What we do first is take about 2 tablespoons of butter. You might notice that my tablespoon is very generous. There's attributes to this. And we put it in a bain-marie to melt. We take about 3/4 of a cup of milk and break in 1 egg. Make sure you whisk the milk and the egg together, incorporating it completely. When the butter has melted, we pour it into the milk and whisk it in. And then we add about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla essence or extract, whatever you wish. Now that we're done with mixing all the wet ingredients together, it's time to keep it aside and move on to the dry ingredients. 1 cup of flour, 2 tablespoons of castor sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Make sure you mix all of it together with your fingers. Now we add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and whisk away to glory. So when all the lumps have gone from the bowl and it's turned into a nice thick batter, we take a flat pan, put it on low to medium heat, and put in about 2 cubes of butter. Lightly rub the butter. When tiny bubbles start to appear, just pour in the thick mixture of the pancake, round it a bit, make sure it's round, and keep it thick. That's how the pancakes become nice and fluffy. Don't want it too thin. So pancakes haven't really originated in America, but then again, not much has it? So when you get large bubbles on the top, that means the bottom is not completely, but pretty well cooked. So we're going to flip it, and now we let the other side cook. And you're done. So with all that batter, we have a stack of about 7 to 8 pancakes. And if you wish to make another American favorite like the waffles, you can use exactly the same batter, but you will need a waffle iron. And since we don't have the budget for it, I don't have a waffle iron. Are you listening to me, my producer? We don't have a waffle iron. Buy me a waffle iron. We're going to move on to making the side of bacon. Of course, we're using American streaky bacon. Yes, they actually call this bacon in America. How precious. So to cook bacon, we're going to put a pan on medium flame. We're going to put the bacon directly on the pan without using any oil or any butter. And that's because bacon already has so much fat. The fat's going to melt and help the bacon cook itself. So when the bacon has colored nicely and has shrunk down to about 3/4 of the size, and it looks like an angel has been sent down from heaven, we put it on some absorbent paper. Now that we've got this pan nice and clean, which is very important for the next step, we put it again on a medium flame, and now we cook this already cooked bacon a little bit further in maple syrup. This gives it a flavor that is as good as eating heaven. We let some maple syrup reduce in a pan. Now the maple syrup is bubbling slightly and you get a slight caramelized smell in the air, just add all your pieces of bacon to it and then slightly saute it in your pan. This process is also called rendering the bacon in maple syrup or glazing the bacon in maple syrup. Make sure a flame is not too high, or else the maple syrup will burn, caramelize, and then it'll just taste bitter. And then there's no reversing it. So when the bacon is shiny and candied like this, and the maple syrup is dripping off it very slowly, it's quite done. And I'm extremely sorry, but I cannot stop myself from eating one. Oh, have to give me a minute. So what we're going to make next is a blueberry jam. So here is about half a cup of fresh blueberries, which I'm going to put in a pan, half the quantity of sugar, and water that is 1/3 the amount of the sugar that we've put in. And now we keep it on a slightly high flame, mix all the blueberries, sugar and water together. And when the sugar starts bubbling slightly, you put in the sugar thermometer and wait till it reaches 105 degrees. So as we reach 105 degrees on the thermometer, turn the gas off, and then we dip our silicone spatula lightly into the jam. And then, when it is appropriately cooled, take a bit of jam between your fingers and check to see if a thread is formed. This thread is not supposed to stay on for a long time because 105 is just a soft thread. Make sure you don't leave the jam in the saucepan for too long, as temperature may go on rising with the heat of the pan. So now that we're done with the pancakes, the last thing to do is to pour a good amount of maple syrup on it. Otherwise, you know, they're not pancakes. So there you have it. You got pancakes, you got bacon, you got blueberry jam, and a big dollop of butter with maple syrup. That's the complete American breakfast. Promise me, you will never, ever make me do that again. Have a good meal. Bye-bye.